How it go to my beautiful beaming people. You guys are locked in to Islandish podcast. This is your girl Yams, and I am so happy to be officially launching this right here on Superior Talk. And I have here with me the man to know when it comes to Grand Bahama. When you see him at the event with the camera out, just bust a smile, because you know that about to hit the internet. This is my boy Lyndon. Lundy, how are you, sir?
Hey, Yams, I'm pretty good, man. It's so good to be here on Islandish. You know, it's a family show, right?
Yes.
So definitely say family things.
Yes,
All
definitely,
right,
definitely. So as always, you guys can follow us at Islandish242. Make sure to share the link with your family and friends so they can chime in. And if you do want to call in, the number to call is 352-TALK or 352-8255. See, the nice have to be all formal like that. Give them all the stuff in the beginning, and then we can get to the fun stuff. Right, so the persons who do not know you or who are tuning in from different family islands, give them a little information about who you are, but they need to know, not all your business, but, you know, just a little graze over.
Okay, well, some.
Yeah.
Well, for the most part, for those that don't know, I am Lyndon Lundy. I am born, raised, bred, and they say I'm dead, a Grand Bahamian.
Yes.
I'm a Grand Bahamian by birth, born in High Rock, not even in the hospital, on the floor. Can you believe that? That's in the time.
That's the
was
time.
Born before, celebrated independence.
Okay.
So that means I should have been a British baby. Shut your chap.
Love it.
Yeah, I've worked in the hospitality industry basically all my life, from before you've been born.
Yeah.
So it would have been 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been, I've also seen Grand Bahama in its highs and lows and mid-range and fighting back. So that's basically who I am in a nutshell. 4 kids, 4 beautiful kids. One, I wouldn't tell her age because she'd probably beat me up on after she see me. But nonetheless, and 2 boys and 2 girls. And 2 of them in university, and one already completed, and another one is aspiring to be a doctor. Hopefully, we hit the lottery and we be able to make that happen very, very soon.
I love it. So it's amazing to have you here with me. Now, I would love to say that you are someone I could call in Grand Bahama as the influencer of your generation.
Interesting.
The reason why I would say that is because you could get persons of your age, my age, and basically reach an audience that most influencers have a hard time tapping into. So how did you step from hospitality into being this man that actively posts on social media and tries to get the word out about so many different businesses on the island?
Well, when you look at the hospitality industry, that's pretty much exactly what I do in a nutshell on social media. It's still being the person that goes around into small businesses and asks them and promote them. And not even per se they paying me.
Right.
I'm doing it based on the fact that someone could help them.
Right.
You know, it's some small business doesn't have that social media reach.
Right.
And if I could use my platform to help somebody along the way, then that's what I do. I go in there, I don't ask them for anything. I purchase and I give them a real experience based on what I've tasted or what I've seen.
Right.
And based on the prices and what have you. With inflation the way it is right now, I found it's a lot more sensible to shop home.
Yes.
Yeah, it might not be as cheap, but it is more sensible based on all the things that you have to spend and monies you have to spend and traveling and hotel, choreo and all that other stuff. While I don't despise those choreos and stuff because they too need it. They need their small business as well. But for the most part, a lot can't afford all of that. So I try to push those small business so people could see that what we have here in Grand Bahama. A lot of places in Grand Bahama, people didn't know was here until I put it out there and exposed it on social media.
Yes.
And most of that I could attribute to my kids having me being their private Uber.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, and driving them all around. I get to see a lot of things, a lot more things. So they always laugh at me because every time I see something, I pull out my camera.
Of course.
Yeah, you know, after all, it's here.
Definitely.
And it's free.
So my question would be, because now, I ain't gonna ask you to tell me your age. That ain't nice.
I was born before independence.
That's all I need to know. 51
do the
plus.
maths.
Right. So with that being said, how difficult is it for you to keep up with the changes in social media in terms of posting or using your phone and things like that? Because I know some persons, like my parents, they struggle with it a little bit. So in terms of that, is that a challenge for you?
No, it's not a challenge for me. I've always loved technology. I've always loved to be able to see different things and try different things and do different things in that aspect. For me, it started off as well in the church.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually was the sound tech at St. John's Native Baptist Church before they went to the big Jubilee.
Oh, that's when they used to do the Youth Alive and all that stuff. And
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
okay.
I introduced them to, we used to have the persons in the office doing business work and they couldn't come in the church, so I introduced them to the speaker and what have you. I run lines from the, so that was
so they
innovative for my time.
All right, okay.
Yeah, so they could hear the service going on.
Okay.
You know, so that was always my thing. I was always a tech guy. I always loved this.
Okay, so you never had a struggle with technology. Now, you did mention something that I think some of the influencers who watch it can be a little upset that you actually don't charge
No, I
to
don't.
be posting and you just go in and actually having authentic experiences.
Yes.
Now, with that being said, do you think that gives you an edge? Because since they're not paying you, you're not being compensated, you're coming there of your own free will, spending your own time, your own money, and bringing your kids.
Absolutely.
So you think that helps you in terms of being someone that people could vouch for, in terms of they know Linden and give me a good referral?
Yeah, I think it helps give it that authentic, real feel.
Right.
And you know, because if I charging you for it, then I'm gonna have to do exactly what you say. And I have to push a narrative,
Right.
which may not be true.
Right.
But if I'm paying for it, you can't tell me how to judge my experience or my service with you.
Right. If it's salty, it's salty.
If it's salty, it's salty. You
Right.
know, so that's how it is for me. And I try to, when I go to places, if I feel like something different, I talk to the customer, to the persons who own the place, and let them do certain things, X, Y, Z, before I post it.
Right.
For an extent, because one post could destroy a person's business.
Very true.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
It just may have been a bad day for them.
Right.
Yeah, so sometimes I think it's best that you give people that upper hand to know what happened first and before. And
Right.
if they don't, then it's on them now.
I like that you said that, because I think we get really critical when it comes to businesses and even with each other as Bahamians. Soon as one thing go wrong with a business or you had a bad experience, it's like, oh, this is why I don't shop in the Bahamas now. This is why it's only order online. So I like that you said that, because we need to handle each other with that kind of grace. So my other question would be, with you being from and having a hotel industry background, do you think that helps you in terms of being an expert of sorts, a connoisseur of restauranting, a restaurateur, one would say?
I don't know if that would be the main thing, but it helps because I've get to hear a lot of people complaints and concerns based on service and taste. So it gives me a better idea of what to look for.
Right.
And when I go there to experience a restaurant or shopping experience based on that as well. Being able to go shop abroad and see what they do abroad,
Right.
and then come back here and see what they do here. There's a couple of places that I go and I visit a lot, and there's one place in particular that I normally post a lot, and that's Looking Fabulous. It's a clothing store, and Miss Carolyn there, she has customer service down to
To
a
a
T.
science.
I
She
can
is.
tell you that.
She have my number. She's messaged me when she have certain things in
Yes.
that she know I would like.
Yes,
I love her
yes,
service.
Yeah, she's down to the T. Then you go by OMG Couture. That's another one. She's very
Yeah, Angela,
friendly and
yes.
sociable, you know. And you got to understand that's what brings people back. And the owners themselves plays a big factor in bringing people back to their business. And in particular, the people who they hire.
Right.
'Cause sometimes the people you hire don't really care for your business.
Yeah.
They're only there for that salary.
Yeah.
And they don't have the customer service down pat. They're not smiling, not friendly with the people and what have you. So as an influencer, you could push that business as much as you want, but if they're not doing their part as well,
Correct.
I can only send people there, but it's your job to retain them.
Good point. Good point. So my other question would be, other than customer service, because we hear that a lot in terms of when Bahamians go out to other Bahamian restaurants and places, that customer service is really lacking. So in your experience with the amount of places you've been, especially here in Grand Bahama, what is something else that you feel that a lot of restaurants are lacking other than customer service?
Well, the aesthetic, I would say, based on the environment, how it looks and how it feels. For me, I am big on the restrooms.
Right.
Yeah, I go to your restaurant, and that's like one of the first places I go before I even try to eat there.
Yeah.
And
Wash your hands.
Yeah, to wash your hands. So when I look at the restaurant and the surrounding, it gives me the idea of what's happening behind the scene. Because if you're not going to pay attention to the restaurant, where the staff themselves have to come and wash their hands to prepare my food.
Correct.
Yeah, so that for me, it's a big thing when it comes to restaurants.
Okay. Yeah. I like that point. For me, it's like you said, the atmosphere. So I would say as I'm getting older, because I don't remember this being a problem when I was younger, but as I'm getting older, I'm finding it more annoying when I'm sitting down at a restaurant and I have to yell.
Yes.
Or I have to scream over the music, or it's too much going on where I can't enjoy the actual ambiance, can't enjoy my food, can't enjoy my company, can't even have a waitress telling me, oh, I ain't no more grouper. So it's that.
Listen, I feel the exact same way,
right.
Especially as a mature person, a mature adult. You go in the restaurant or bar or whatever, and you're trying to have a conversation as well.
Yes.
And you'd be like, huh? You know, many times I have two things that I do when I'm in such a situation like that. I just shake my head or laugh. At
just
that
laugh
time,
at the joke.
I have zero idea what they said
right.
or what it was.
Yes.
You know, and that's kind of, for me, it's being embarrassing, but sometimes you miss some important points.
Yeah.
You know,
like they ask you a question and you just nod your head and it's like, huh? It makes it kind of awkward. And so even piggybacking off of that, I feel like even when it comes to relationships and social scenes between persons who are attracted to one another, if we're in a bar and a guy trying to come on to me, I can't really hear what he's saying. I know if he's being creepy.
Exactly.
It's like, turn the music down a little bit, just a little bit. I think it could go up maybe after 9:30, 10.
When the other generation come out.
Yeah, yes. So speaking of which, I know you attended and you were posting a lot about the reunion party that happened. I see it was another smashing success.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. And one of your posts on Facebook talks about, I won't talk about the name of the events, but you said the difference between age and maturity.
Yes.
When it comes to going out in social scenes too. So do you feel like a more mature crowd doesn't go out because they don't know what to expect with the younger crowd?
I think you hit the nail right on the head with that, because, like I said, I attended both events, one with the younger generation, one with the older ones, and I found that with the set, the people that holding the event sets the stage,
right?
And based on the music you play, believe it or not, is what determine how the night gonna go.
Right.
If you listen to a lot more younger music, it has a lot to do with violence. You know, everybody put your hands in the air, shots in the air, fire shots, and all that stuff.
Right.
So you tend to have people feeling more like a bad boy. And so
flexing.
You understand. So when you got around the younger generation, that's their thing. I'm not knocking them, but
right.
That's what we're talking about, the difference between the age and the younger. And you find that they feel a little threatened by one another. You're looking at this girl, you look at that girl, you step on my shoe, because you know the shoe is a big thing.
Of course.
Yeah.
Stay fresh to death. Fresh out the box tennis, don't step on my shoe.
Exactly.
Right.
Don't look at my girl hard either.
Right.
Because now we can have words, and then big fight can break out. So I think would normally be the difference. And in a setting like the reunion, when you had persons like that, was a kind of event that very wholesome.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, it was just not only senior citizens there.
I didn't say that. Please, I didn't say that.
It was a lot of young people there as well that
course.
enjoyed themselves and enjoyed hanging around those kinds of people. One like me, when I was young, I grew up being around older folks. I love being around older folks.
You sound like me.
Yeah, you gather so much from them.
Yeah.
And so much more. They have a lot of fun, believe it or not, around the older folks.
They
nice.
do.
Yeah.
And they have more conversation.
Yes.
And that's one thing that I think we've missed with this generation.
Absolutely.
With technology and everything. We've lost the idea of like, hey, when we go out, put your phone in your bag, we out. Let's talk. I write here. You need to message someone home. They didn't want to come out. So we should talk. We should fraternize. We should get to know one another, have some drinks, have some food, and enjoy each other. So I completely agree with that as well. So changing topics just a little bit. When it comes to age bracket, in terms of with you and shopping as a male in Freeport, is that something that you found being something difficult, especially when it comes to finding businesses?
Wow.
I know Esquire's got it on lock, but in terms of other places.
Esquires have it on lock per se, but as far as the society right now has it down to everything basically shopping for the younger men.
Right.
Yes, not senior, but more mature men, I would say. Everything is skinny legs and tight legs and tight up shirt and stuff like that. Most men, a lot of men don't really want that.
No.
But it's an era that we in. So you find it hard now to find clothing in Grand Bahama, in particular for men. If you're trying to go somewhere, you have, based on my moving around Grand Bahama, you have a lot of stuff for women and children.
Yes.
But a good men clothing store. For the most part, a lot of graphics and stuff. People in certain age don't really want a lot of graphics on their shirts and stuff.
They just
like
want
that.
a plain shirt, nice color,
Nice
little
color.
logo.
Yeah, but you can't find that basically in Grand Bahama per se. One or two stores may have one or two items, but they're not going to give you that much. And I don't blame them because they got to go with what's selling.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah,
so I'm
the
not
women
knocking
always
that.
shopping.
Yeah, exactly. And the young boys want to be fresh. What they call it.
Every time.
Every time. So they got to hit that market. That's the market they go after.
Definitely.
But as far as the gap, it's hard to find stuff that I would normally love to wear. So they'll say, "Oh, are you dressing up like a little young boy or something like that?"
Yeah, it's like that's all I can find.
I dressing based on what I can find. It's not necessarily that's what I want to wear,
Right.
but it's what's out there available to buy.
Definitely. So we're going to take a short commercial break, and then we come back. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, and then shift gears into Bahamian music and some live performances.
Woo! Yes.
All right, so we are back here with Islandish Podcast right here on Superior Talk. Make sure y'all subscribing, but so y'all could, get the notification for when the next episode's coming out and all of that good stuff. Here with my boy Lyndon.
Hey!
How you doing?
Good paparazzi London in the
Hey,
house.
gotta love it. If you guys want to call in and talk with Mr. Lundy, the number to call is 352-8255. And right before the break, we were talking about the issues with men being able to find good clothing stores here in Freeport, Grand Bahama, as well as, the generational gap in terms of inventory. Women always shopping, we like to buy clothes. Children always buying clothes because they're always growing, so they always need something new. So in that regard, and speaking on that line of questioning, what are some other industries that you feel is lacking? I know for one, in my opinion, I feel like there's not enough things for children to do here in Freeport, Grand Bahama, in terms of venues or places that are 100% child-centered.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that because basically what people don't realize and they haven't tapped into market is parents spend money on kids.
Yes, that's what children.
Yes, children, they spend money on kids. So even to come down to entertainment, if you could put some things in place that actually focus on the whole family, it'll get the kids out and to the point where the parents going to spend their money, get them out of the house for a couple of minutes, even if they go with their bigger sister so they could catch a break or time. But then we don't have a lot of that in Grand Bahama. No. I know we have the skating ring and people don't really make full use of that like they should.
Right.
But we don't have a lot of things that says, come, bring the kids.
Yes.
I haven't seen it.
Yes, I fully agree. I feel like that's a market that a lot of businesses or people or even entrepreneurs decide not to tap into. But like you say, people spend on children.
I can tell you
even
that.
people who don't have children, they have godchildren, niece and nephew, and they can spend.
I got a 20-some-year-old child, daughter, woman. Yeah, I still just have to spend. Daddy, I need. Yeah, but
Daddy, I want.
And guess what you're gonna do?
You're gonna give me it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why not tap into that market and try to cater stuff around the kids and try to make that happen? I know we got a movie theater here per se. I've never been to it, but that in itself, I don't think that's kids friendly.
No, I think some of the showings aren't usually kid-centered because you have to remember that's still a bar.
That's my point.
Yeah,
that's the point when in regards to that. The environment itself is not kid-friendly.
Especially some more Christian parents, they would not going into that location at all.
Exactly. So therefore, that's why you wouldn't see the real uptick and people go into the movies because basically it's younger kids who would want to go.
Right.
I got a 18-year-old son and he's not someone I'd want that around that environment.
Yes.
Even though I may be one that goes in here and goes places like that, I still try to figure out better places and better choices for my kids.
Right.
Yeah,
I think
based on
we
my
think
experience.
children just always want to go to the beach.
Yeah,
So
no,
we'll just
it's
take them to
not.
the beach. It's
No.
like, no, there are other things. That's why when the bowling alley even was open, that was a prime location for something
was,
like that.
it was.
But even that started to gear itself only towards an adult
And that's what they,
crowd.
because they was impatient. I think they were impatient. They couldn't really wait for the numbers to continue to try.
Right.
And they wasn't innovative in trying to find new ideas and different things to bring the
Yes,
kids
yes,
in.
definitely.
Doing team parties and the likes and what have you. People get lazy in business.
Right.
And they open it and they feel like, oh, I'm
It just
done.
supposed to make,
It
yeah.
just supposed to make money. No, but you got to keep recreating yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, money got to go where money lies. So you have to continue to pumping money into it.
Yeah, especially people like me and Lyndon who
Yeah.
go out all the time. We
Exactly.
always in your place. And
Yeah.
After like 3-4 months, paint the wall different.
Something.
Give me some different furniture.
Yeah, something make me
Get
feel
some
like
different design of the cup.
You understand?
Make me feel like I somewhere different.
Exactly.
Even though I go into my favorite place.
Exactly.
But that is really important as well in business. So another thing I want to talk to you about, more so catered to the hotel industry. Do you feel, or not feel, say I feel like you should know. You can know this. So when it comes to Freeport Grand Bahama, do you think that it needs to be the hotel industry that leads the way in terms of us getting that boost as an economy? Because a lot of people are saying it don't make no sense to bring all these more businesses or more clubs or more let's say a big amusement park for children if there's nowhere for even the tourists to stay when they want to come. So do you feel like that is a strong point, or the hotels really don't really contribute to what's happening in terms of the economy in Grand Bahama?
Well, I believe the hotel contributes, not as strongly as it should or so it used to. Even then, it had some struggles even back in the days.
But it was good.
When they said it was good, because from what I can recall, Lucayan Beach always was a struggle,
Yeah.
even when business was good in Grand Bahama. So I would say, therefore, hotels always struggle in Grand Bahama. Holiday Inn had some challenges as well, and as well as Atlantic Beach. But Atlantic Beach had their own entity, airplanes and stuff that they brought their own people in.
Right, they're their own niche.
Yeah, exactly. Seems like as well as not Grand Lucayan. Bahama Princess and the Princess Towers, all of that had their own airline.
Yes.
So they were able to bring in their own people and what have you. So, but as far as to answer your question with regards to the hotel, I don't think the hotel should lead the way because we're not strong in that tourism factor. And I think that's why we're going away from that and leaning more towards the cruise ship industries
Yes.
and just they trippers. One, we don't have the kind of accommodation in Grand Bahama to accommodate famous rich people.
That's true,
Yeah,
to be
you don't
honest.
have. You don't have the suites.
We have to be honest.
Yeah,
We
it's
don't have the
just
5-star
reality. We
hotels.
don't.
We don't have the exclusive experiences.
We don't.
And then, to be honest, at that 5-star celebrity level,
Yes.
your waitering and everything has to be
On
world
point,
class.
on point,
It
on
can't
point,
be no
on point.
mediocre.
On point.
Not for what they in charge of.
Exactly.
Yeah, it has to be at that higher level.
Exactly. Dubai has changed the playing field.
Yes.
Yeah, in
Most
regards
definitely.
to hotels hotel stay.
Yeah, they'll be like, scratching your head.
Yeah.
Like, how do I compete?
Yeah, so like you said, the sun's on, and see, we could only sell that for so long, because they do that in Mexico as well. I don't know if you know
Yeah.
that, and at a very good price.
Tulum, Tulum,
Yeah, I had a
All
friend
them
that.
fancy places, Cancun.
Yeah, I just had a friend text me, message me, and tell me that he's spending 4 or 5 days in the DR for him and his wife, and it was like less than $1,500.
Nah, see, that's what you're...
Yeah.
Hey, you watching, right? Pay attention.
Yeah,
Take these
and
notes.
that's all inclusive,
And see, and that makes it even better. See,
and on the beach.
yeah, see, yeah, we gotta do something.
So-
So my other question would be, now that we're talking about, well, I can take us more into like news. It was recently announced that they are planning to expand the Nassau Cruise Port, introducing a water park theme, putting a lot of money into it, and really expanding that project that they have going on there.
Yeah.
It looks like it's generating a lot of good revenue from the cruise ships.
Yes.
Now, that makes me kind of excited when I think about what's going on with Celebration Key here in Grand Bahama and the potential that plans to boost into the Grand Bahama economy. So what would you advise young businesses or businesses that are in the tourism industry to sharpen themselves on from now? Because apparently that's going to launch in summer 2025.
Absolutely.
So that gives them exactly 1 year to get it together. So what are 1 or 2 things you would advise businesses in that industry to step up on?
Well, I know Celebration Key supposedly is supposed to be like a little private island, which means they're going to try to contain the people off the ship
Right.
onto this little private island.
Yes.
So you got to be very, very, very creative on finding ways to get them off of that island, off
Yes.
of that key. They're docking onto one of the most beautiful beaches in Grand Bahama.
I tell you that.
So
the
where
best part.
Yeah, so where you going to take them? What you gonna show them?
What you gonna show 'em?
What you gonna show them? So you got to find something that's authentic, that's not there, and to give them an experience. As far as tourism, it's all about experience.
Yes.
Yes, you have to incorporate now how to incorporate social media into this new tourism experience.
Yes.
People like to see themselves in the now. Things
Yeah.
happening now. I don't want to be on vacation last week and seeing it next month.
That's true.
It's instant. So you have to figure out ways to incorporate social media into tourism now to get people into selling them that idea of what they
Yes.
could do. And
Yes.
it's something that they have, but you could sell it to them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying
Yeah, so
completely.
if you figure out that tool, it could even be as far as transportation.
Yeah.
And you could show that you give them a ride and you could be recording it along the way and what have you. And that could be a market for yourself as well. And just
Yeah.
doing certain things and giving it to them instantly. Because sometimes people travel alone and all the time you don't want a selfie stick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
no
I
one
have a best friend who loves to travel alone. So being around, being like, hey, you want us to take that photo for you?
Yeah.
It's those little small
And that
touches.
could become a business.
That could become a business.
Exactly. And you now, boom, boom, I send it straight to you.
Yes.
You don't even have to do it. And then
Airdrop.
with all the cap cuts and all of these other stuff, all these other tools and things you could use, you could fix it up to a point where that in itself become a business instantly. Because people, like you say, generations are changing. They don't have that technology. They're not technology savvy. So therefore, you could make that your business.
Yes, but
And
I
this
can take
tourism.
it for you and I instantly send it to you.
Right.
Or here, this the little QR code. Just scan this.
Exactly.
You can get all your pictures.
And what
up
I'd
there.
encourage people to do in this time as well, properties around Celebration Key. If you don't have peace up there, it'd be a good time to try to figure out how to get peace.
Yeah, boy. Because that's further down past where the old UB campus used
Can you
to
imagine having rental units up there and people working in that area don't want to drive all the way Freeport or drive all the way West End? Just
be. They could set up shop right there.
yeah, you're right there. You live close to work. People like the convenience of living close to work. Think about it. And then while you're in the area, you could also make small businesses in that area as well. And so that area can actually grow into a city.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I
See?
think that's what they wanted to do with UB. However, due to Dorian,
Yes.
the city,
Sidetrack that plan. a
sidetrack
lot.
that city.
Yeah, but that's definitely an amazing point. You also brought up a few great points when it came to Celebration Key, but I really believe that the innovation of it, like you said, is really important.
Very.
You can't want to just package the same old tourism product.
No.
It has to be something different.
Have to be
And even if, because you have to remember as well, that's a drive
a long drive.
from mainland Grand Bahama
Yeah.
Freeport.
Yeah, so that's the key point you use in the drive.
yeah,
That's where you start your business from there. What could I do with the drive?
the transport.
What could I do in that area?
Yeah, what I could do in that area,
Yeah.
or how I can make that drive part of the actual experience. All of those different things
Exactly.
you have to keep in mind. And I'm happy that you mentioned even purchasing property in that area.
Exactly.
Because there's a lot of times, especially how this is 1 year out, Celebration Key been announcing from before this year.
For a while.
Little while.
Yes.
So that's the kind of thing when I'm talking about when it's talking about business and wanting to see change.
Yes.
We need to implement more effective planning
Exactly.
to actually make sure we are purposeful
Exactly.
when we're trying to launch these businesses, paying attention to what's going on in Grand Bahama,
Precisely.
these corporations and different investments that are coming in and actually attending things. So that's one thing I definitely do give you a lot of credit on with your Facebook page, that you don't just post the fun.
No.
You post information as
Absolutely.
well. Things to keep people informed, to know about business ideas or forums or things like that that they could attend if they want sponsorship, if they want assistance, or if they want to invest
Yes.
in Grand Bahama. So what are a few of the ones you've attended recently that are a bit noteworthy?
In regards to the
In
celebration.
terms of the Grand Bahama economy on the whole.
Well, when they had launched the Celebration Key, they had a forum on that, and I think a lot of people didn't take advantage of it.
Right.
In that regard, because they have a lot of business ideas and opportunities inside Celebration Key that the locals could take a part of. It wasn't there for job opportunities; it was there for businesses.
Yes.
Yeah, so you could create businesses. There are some things that Carnival going to do that you have to go through Carnival to make it happen.
Yes.
Because they have to make sure you got insurance
Yeah, they have
and
to
all
vet
that.
you.
All this. Exactly.
Right.
And then lastly, I think Ministry of Grand Bahama had a forum on the Great Lawn.
Yeah, the expo.
The expo. That a lot of people didn't come out to.
Right.
But it also had a lot of information. There are companies that are were hiring people as well. They're looking for key executive positions. And I was like, wow, I didn't know this was available. And trying to get people to come home to those positions and what have you. And they're like different housing opportunities as well that you could sign up for with the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation, that itself. They also had Port Authority with properties, could come and buy properties. And I think Grand Bahama has one of the cheapest set of properties in the whole of the Bahamas.
Yes, the property value here is really, really low. Not in terms of in a bad way, but in terms of the market now.
Exactly.
It is very, very good if you're trying to purchase and
Now
purchase
is the best
for the
time.
future.
Now is the best time.
It is the best time to
now
purchase.
Is the best time. Pay down, start paying. You know,
Go to your bank, see if you qualify, get the loan, pay it down. Especially
instead of buying that car. Buy a piece of property.
Buying them clothes and them fresh shoes.
Instead of buying a $20,000 car, buy a $5,000 one a piece of property.
Yes.
When you pay for the property, then you can buy a better car.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But that's part of the conversation that a lot of people don't like to get into, or they feel like, oh, well, back in the day it was so much cheaper, it don't make no sense to be buying. I think that things are always occurring in a cycle.
It does, because in a couple of years from now, my daughter's going to be saying back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day it was
cheaper, and this thing was because inflation just keep going up. You know, and my grandmother was saying it was cheaper, and I was saying it was cheaper. So you can imagine that.
You can always be saying it was cheaper. Of course, it was cheaper yesterday.
It was.
Today's price is not yesterday's price.
Absolutely.
So,
but not cut you off in regards to Celebration Key. I know people thinking, oh, well, the harbor, the current harbor that we have, is going to be a challenge because Carnival used to go there, and if it's no longer going there, and that's business is down there, now what?
Right, that's a good point, but is that really true?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. So you have situations where Carnival, they're going to utilize their own key, right?
Right.
They used to utilize where?
They used to utilize the other one, the one that's already up and running.
So what are we doing to fill that void?
That is very, very true. Because if I recall correctly, Celebration Key, that's going to be a 24/7 port.
Yeah.
They're going to have ships coming in every single day.
Ships.
It's not going to be, or we close on Sundays, or we have nothing coming in on Tuesday. They have ships coming in every single day and staying overnight in some cases.
So how do we turn that from tourism now to industrial only then?
Right. That's a good point. Because actually that might be an interesting market to get into, because people who are out in that area in terms of industrial, they don't have to move if you have all the food and things like that they need.
Exactly.
Yeah. But we're definitely going to get into that a little bit more. We got to take another commercial break. But y'all, don't go nowhere. Stay right there.
Right there.
Where you going, mate?
To go buy these tickets for the party tonight.
Why is boy so dumb? Tickets242.com.
You know how hard it is.
They sell tickets for parties, concerts, plays, sporting events, everything.
You know how expensive bus is.
Well, if you just buy the tickets online, they could just send you it in the email. Then you could just print it off.
You know how strong mosquitoes is.
Or you could go to the box office downtown at the Genesis Street Gear.
You ain't scared of Joneses, eh?
Welcome to Karen's Kitchen, where we specialize in Bahamian dishes such as fried fish, crack conch, crab soup, and much more. We're located on Queens Highway next to GB Muffler. To order, call 441-4033.
Yes, we're back at Islandish Podcast, the Family Island podcast, bringing you everything Family Island, from the culture, the events, the people, and I have one of them right here with me, Mr. Linden. How you doing again?
Great.
Wonderful. If you guys want to chime in again, the number is 352-TALK. That's 352-8255. Now, before we went on the break, we were talking about the port that's now the Freeport Harbor area, and how with Celebration Key opening up and Carnival now having all of their ships go there, what void does that now create for, I guess, innovation, or for them to pivot in terms of what the schema was for the cruise port. Now I want you to continue with what sentiments you had on that topic.
Yeah, in that regard, I was just trying to understand, once you take away the most ships that were calling into Freeport Harbor Port, how do we fill that void? How are they going to fill that void? Because you have people and shops down there that dependent on that.
Yeah.
So now what do we do? Are they all going to Celebration Key? I'm hoping that they secure in the spot at Celebration Key as well, because that in itself creates an issue. I know Valeria still comes there, but they only bring a handful of tourists.
Yeah, a handful of tourists. It's mostly a local
Yeah.
who's use it heavily.
Exactly.
Right.
And if Paradise, what is Paradise, the other ship?
You asking the wrong person.
Yeah, okay, Bahama Celebration.
You're
That's
right.
what I know it as. So if that continue to come there, that may bring some people, but then the market helps for transportation. Because now they could take them to, possibly take them to Celebration Key.
They could.
Now, but then there's a place in the middle of all of that, Tino Beach, that still has
Pirates
Pirates Cove,
and then
that
Gully
little-
Wash and all those other places.
so it's
as
a
well.
possibility they're losing business as well because they used to have a lot of carnival persons going there.
Coming down there as well.
So now they themselves have to now rethink and figure out ways to make it work for them as well.
Right. So I think that's part of the conversation when we talk about innovation and investment and things coming to Grand Bahama, that a lot of times it may cost the market to shift.
Exactly.
And if you're not paying attention, your business could get left out.
It will.
If you're not paying attention, like
It
you
will.
said.
It will.
So where you thought money was always going to come in, like, oh, this usually a good season for us, that may change with the opening of Celebration Key in 2025.
Yes.
So that's a really good point that you made. But another thing I wanted us to stay on and talk about regarding all of this is also when you talked about pivoting and businesses having to change their structure and their format because of investments and changes over time. When we're thinking about, especially with the hurricane season coming in terms of being prepared on not just a tourism level, but in terms of people being prepared as a business. Do you think a lot of businesses are taking that as seriously as they should? Especially when it comes to having insurance.
Yeah, before Doreen, I don't think they did. I think Doreen changed a lot of our mindsets in regards to storms and hurricane, and preparation has been has gone up a little bit more.
Right.
And also that in itself had a lot of people more afraid to be more innovative.
Right.
Because they're afraid that another storm going to come and destroy all
Yeah.
that they've done. So they just give you the bare minimum and hope for the best.
Yeah. Afraid to take risks.
Yeah.
You won't go all out of pocket on an expansion and then
Boom.
hurricane come and you back at zero.
Exactly.
So that's completely understandable, but you can't let the fear
Exactly.
stop you from being in a race.
Exactly.
Sound like my daddy.
Hey,
Oi.
watch it pass the swing.
Speaking of which, my mom made this shirt. You know, I tell y'all I was rowing y'all on TikTok about how, man, let me mean you can talk about this right now. I just remember. Every year, when Independence come around, I struggle to find a size small shirt.
Oh, Jesus.
The reason why I struggle to find this size small, because you know, majority of being women ain't no size small.
No.
So I was trying to understand why I just can't find this shirt.
Well, we know why. Because the small, the large, we're in medium. And then medium, we're in small.
Yeah, but
Everything is about tight up in this generation.
yeah, see, I don't want to be tied up. I just
Exactly.
want it fit. And then
Yeah.
the people just want to tell me all the time, oh, you could get a big size and cut it up. I don't want no cut up shirt. I want to look like I'm doing arts and crafts.
I
I,
know, right?
want the shirt
To
to
look
fit.
as natural as this shirt.
Right, like how you wearing your
Yeah,
shirt.
exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So, praise be to God. I have a mommy who grew up in Long Island. She make me this nice shirt.
It's beautiful.
You know, I gone into Home Fabrics. Big up to my people there at Home Fabrics. They help me pick out the fabric. Let me make this in under 2 hours.
There you go. She could sell a couple of those now, actually.
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
Mommy in retirement, she would appreciate the support and the,
Yeah.
patronage.
Okay, and it's a good month for it too.
Yeah, this is a good month for it too. And this some nice quality, nice breathable.
Actually, that looks good to travel in.
I look like I buy this off Shein.
No, it wasn't she. That ain't definitely she. And that almost like Bahari.
Ah,
Yeah,
see?
that's Bahari. Yeah.
And mommy need to give them the patent.
Quick, fast, and hurry.
Definitely. But as we get ready to wrap up, any last sentiments you have or any type of encouragement you have for some Bahamian entrepreneurs who are listening or tuning in who are struggling when it comes to the marketing and putting themselves out there as a business?
Well, as far as social media in regards to small business, I'd encourage them to try and do it themselves as much as they possibly can, so it could be authentic as much as possible, so people could connect with you as the owner and know who you are and support you. I know some people are going to support you based on who you are as well.
Right, that's true.
That's Bahamian people.
Yeah.
That's just I won't say Bahamian. That's humans.
That's humans in general.
Yeah, and as humans in general, that we will support who you are, and we will also not support you because who you are.
Right.
But I encourage them to try to do most of this stuff. I would go into stores and the people inside, them trying to help you, and they're afraid of the camera. I'm like, talk about your store.
Yeah.
I don't know your store. I only walk in through.
Right.
But the little that you say could go a long way.
Right.
And the
right.
more you do it, the more comfortable you
you
become
get
with
with
it.
it. Yes.
Yeah, I was one that never wanted my presence to be seen on social media. And
Look at you now.
look at me now. Every post I got a picture.
Paparazzi.
Yeah, and thanks to Sasha, now I am Mr. Grand Bahama.
Love it, love it, love it. But definitely, even keeping on that for a little bit more. I like how you mentioned that a lot of businesses are camera shy and they don't want to put themselves out there
Yes.
because they're afraid of backlash. One thing I learned, especially in my marketing journey and with my journey as a small business, a lot of times you think that way in your mind, but the people that are rooting for you are sometimes outnumbering the people that rooting for you to fail.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you get support from strangers
By far.
more than people who know you,
Yeah.
just because they see you and
I
they
could-
see you talking about your business. It's like, oh, I didn't even know a woman did on this, or I didn't even know this was so and so. That's such and such cousin, or I remember when you helped out my child with.
Exactly.
Like, you never know what type of blessing you have, and or
Absolutely.
shielding yourself from by
Exactly.
not putting your face to your business. So
Yes.
that was a really, really good point. You
Yes.
getting a little good at this.
Sometimes, sometimes. Yeah, but lastly, I'd like to say, for those of you that may be listening and you have school uniforms, I have a uniform drive that we're trying to give back to the kids in the community. If you have school uniforms that your kids finish with and you want to, don't throw them away for me, please. Call me at 727-1201. I'd be glad to come and pick them up, wash them, refurbish them, and have them given back to some kids that are in need. And also, if you want to give some new ones, we'll take that as well. If you want to give a donation, we'll take that as well. You can get a Pat's
Definitely.
uniform and get a voucher as well. Sorry, I had to plug that in.
Definitely, I love it. I love it. It's all about giving back,
Yes.
and I love, and it's definitely getting to be that type of time. It's
Yes.
July 11th.
Yeah.
Big ups to 242. We celebrated independence yesterday. 222, but uniforms, back to school, all of that is coming up.
Absolutely.
Really, really soon. Like we
Absolutely.
already in July.
It's here,
The year basically over.
It's gone.
School starting like soon.
like tomorrow.
Yes. So definitely make sure you support his drive and make sure that you donate. It's always important for all of us to work as a village. That's why I really love what you're doing with your page.
Yeah.
Like you say, you ain't charging nobody. You go into places and you're giving an authentic, real experience. And
Yes.
because you have such a strong network and a strong following just organically,
Yes.
from being just a great person, a great guy, someone people like to hang out with. I know whenever I see Lyndon, we can crack a joke or two. We can take a picture and we can have some fun.
Absolutely.
So it's always good to see people in the Grand Bahama community that's still supporting. Because, for some reason, we have this stigma of being people who stuck up
Yeah.
and don't like mix. No,
No.
not us.
No.
That ain't happening over here.
Yeah.
It's all about working together to get to where we want our favorite island to be.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And in regards to small businesses, I must say for Grand Bahama, whether you believe it or not, there is a ton of small businesses open up daily.
Daily.
Grand Bahama is growing very quietly, and people don't even realize it. Every day you drive around, there's a piece of property cleared down, there's a house being refurbished, there's something being renovated, and people don't let you see that side, and that's the side I try to put out there, let people know that
Yes.
things are still happening in Grand Bahama as bad as you may think it is. But it's a lot of things, a lot of people are investing their own money back into Grand Bahama, and it's definitely welcome and appreciated. So kudos to all those persons that are taking a gamble.
Definitely. See, that's what it's all about. So that is our time here on Islandish Podcast. Thank you so much, Lyndon, for coming in
problem.
and talking about me. So you guys, you definitely want to stay tuned. We're going to be here every single week right here on Superior Talk, giving you the current affairs, conversations, and of course, advice on how we can make the family islands flourish. This has been your girl, Yams. Thank y'all for tuning in.